We're back with the action from the Jason Owen Open. This is a round 2 game. Dan Chanter versus Pat Ward. Well, Dan Chanter I'm familiar with. Dan comes from Taunton, down in Somerset, which is not too far from myself. And Pat Ward I'm not so familiar with, but the interesting thing about Pat, I just looked him up on Facebook, and he actually comes from a place called South Petherton, which is about 5 miles from where I live. He's even closer than Dan, but I don't know Pat. I don't know whether his Facebook is up to date. Comes from Birmingham originally, according to his Facebook page, but yeah, it says he's down there in the southwest. That's the cue ball into the middle. Just a misjudgment. Dan's had some decent results and some taken some scalps over the last couple of events. Of course, beat Jimmy Croxton in the first round of the main event this weekend. Gave Tom Cousins a scare in the first event. So a more than capable player. As I say, plies his trade around the Taunton area from All Stars Club down there in Taunton.
Next match on table 15, Mark Shepherd, Sean Chipperfield. Mark Shepherd, Sean Chipperfield, table 15. Next match on table 24, Carl Manning, Terry Lamy. Carl Manning, Terry Lamy, 24. match on table 20, Gary Southern, Ross McIntyre. Gary Southern, Ross McIntyre, table 20.
So Pat not able to take advantage of that in-off from Dan. Always had the problem of the two yellows tied up on this near rail. Not left much for Dan. You can go after the yellow, maybe either pot it into middle off the red or into the top corner, but even that doesn't really offer up much. Yeah, no, push that other red to the top of the table. That's good. Oh, back in prime as well. That's a really nice angle on this red. Needs to judge this one well though. Needs to find the gap between black and yellow and pretty much land on the bottom cushion. Not a lot of margin for error. Probably about a 6-inch gap to play into. Yeah, that's no good. Surprised he tried to go quite so wide to come down the outside of the table. Thought the gap between black and yellow was big enough, and it seemed just slightly more natural angle to come down through that gap. Pat a chance now to develop the yellow at the top of the table off the cushion and just run for cover to the left-hand side of the table. The problem here is there's not that many places on the table where probably actually better to do it this way and leave half a ball to go out, because if he snookers then Dan can just play off two cushions. So I'm going to say there's not many places on the table that it makes it difficult to not be able to get out the snooker. It's always a kind of one cushion, two cushion escape, and Dan could just drop in behind it. That's actually a clever shot from Pat, because he's forcing Dan to take the edge of the red and move it from the position it's in, rather than just being able to drop in behind it. I think the middle bag's just in the way of the natural angle of the sort of two cushions are rolling behind it. So yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened. Is that Pat forced Dan to develop his own balls for him, essentially, and Pat now with the safety net of knowing that even if he does miss, the red's on the bottom cushion. That looks perfect. Just play the yellow nearer the black and then run through for the one at the bottom of the table to leave the other yellow on the outside of it to the middle. Can play these in either order, really. It's one of those occasions, whichever you prefer to get on the black, and let them to take the one to middle first. Just enough room to get to bottom cushion and avoid a kiss on the red. Doesn't want to kiss the red because it's going to leave the black awkward. So it just needs to get on and off the bottom cushion. Well, he made the cannon, it just judged it really well. Nice shot. And now it should be 1-0 to Pat. So these leftover matches from the last 32 of the main event. Neil Raybone against Ryan Francis, currently 6 frames each. Declan Brennan against Matt Cook, currently 6 frames each. And I can look across and see that Matt is at the table on a clearance, so Declan Brennan at risk. Liam Gollop against Jack Whelan, 6-5 to Liam. There's a few shocks brewing. Matt Brierley against Tom Price. Matt's just been on fire recently, 6-1 up against Tom. Carl Morris, 3-1 against Adam Davis. And Steve Smart, finding himself in the last 32, is 5-1 up against Davey.
We will have 21 prelim matches to get down to the required match 64. Competition will start.
Steve Smart, if I remember rightly, I think in his first round game was something like 4-1 down against Dom Cooney. And he came back and beat Dom 7-5. And here he is, looking good for a last 16 place.
We'll be setting up that this evening. The matches will start
My
proper.
co-commentator Mark Shepherd has just
Times to be confirmed, so do check.
started his game against Sean Chipperfield down on table 15, so we'll keep a interested look on that one.
So you have to bear with us. We are going to call out the matches for those playing, so you can watch it or listen out for your names. But without further ado, oh, sorry. What we're going to do is the system works by doing a random code.
Well, I can look across now and I can see that that Declan Brennan game against Matt Cook is on the black and he pots it, and that's Declan Brennan out of the event. Well, Greg Batten said to me this morning, who can beat Declan Brennan? Well, there you go, there's your answer. Matt Cook can.
Here we go.
Goodness me, there's a shock, and the bookmaker will be very pleased about that one.
So the first of the premium matches on the 21, Alan Singleton, Mark Shepherd, Nick Taylor versus Daniel Singh, Sam Bailey.
Ladies event very much underway now. Ladies on the table, on all of the outer tables.
Versus Tommy Lewis, Alex Cameron,
The Masters over 60s event also
Gillespie, Aaron Davies,
all underway.
Bradley versus Dawn Wright, Chris
We are
Hansen, Greg
in
Batten.
full swing.
Jordan Green, Carl Sutton, Glenn Whitmore versus Barry Cunningham, Lindsay Roberts, Ross McIntyre. Jamie Graham, Glenn Cahir, Matt Champ versus Carl Manning, Odie Bale, Jake Gildiz. Zach Shepherd, Wayne White, Elliot Lloyd versus Omar Munshid, Gareth Hibbert, Carl Egger. Dale Greenwood, Gaz Royce, Richard Robinson versus Tyler Hunt, Chris Maniatu, Asima Maskini. Matt Povey, Wayne Morley, Josh Patel versus Richard Gifford, Stephen Dewey, Tony Blount. Spencer Jones, Glenn Hannibal, Michael Davies versus Michael Clark, Joe Nolte, Arfan Dad. Kevin Smith, John Egan, Craig Bowler versus Alpesh Mystery, Adam Masood and Jay Deverell. Bob Love, Lee Smith, Adam Toms versus Matt Parker, Scott Carpenter, Jake Dillon-Newlock. Lakesh Badham, David Harrison, Jimmy Carney versus Dylan Leary, Jason Dorset, Andy Jones. John Kennedy, Alex Pyatt, Claire Smith versus Josh Kane, Lucky Birdie, Darren McVicker. Tom Price, Enrico Forgione, Harry Compton versus Jess Graham, Chris Dyson, Sanjay Patel. Dave Fernandez, Ryan Lee, Sean Story. Elliot Coombe, Joe Syson, Maria Lewis. Neil Wren, Chris Day, Megan Proctor versus Oliver Lawrence, Clint Hanson, Phil Hoskins. Alexandra Fuller, Gladys Cookbrick, Ben Smith versus Steve Ritchie, Mark Bowen, Andy Shaw. Matt Cook, Scott Yardley, Don Cooney versus Amit Lamrini, Sue Fletcher, Sophie Gibbs-Nichols. Steve Smart, Alan Kendall, Lucas DeJean versus Ben Black, Andy Williams, Greg Dixon. Samuel Craddock, Chris Wilson, Ben Duffield versus Matt Brearley, Connor Tracy, Michaela Gerd. And in the last of the prelim matches, Pat Ward, Daniel Bishop, Phil Marriott versus Liam Gollop, Danny Disease, and Steve Oxley. As you'll see, the prelim matches feature into these next round. Christian Disney, Jibril Wazani, Ben Clark will play the winner of prelim 1. Roy Mason, Emma Cunningham, and Clint McCartney will play Gubby Gill, Luke Cronin, Noel Morris. Bradley Ellison, Happy Khan, John McAllister will play the winner of prelim match number 2. The winner of prelim match number 3 will play Shane Thompson, Peter Mulaney, Lee Howitt. Richard Chapman, Alex Lewis, Phil Harrison.
So I've gone a bit quiet, but I was just listening. I don't want to compete with the top table who's currently reading out all of the 3-man teams. So I was just listening with an interest to find out who was matched with who.
Viv Rusco, Gordon Zivolati, Steve Prince, Jim Hitches, Christy Caulfield, We'll play Jamie Mantle for WRPT Thompson. Winner of prelim match number 5. We'll play Nigel White, Nathan Ellis, Ashley Hardcastle. Steve Wilson, Matt Ward, Kev Sutton. We'll play the winner of prelim match number 6. Jamie Stokes, Steve Mannion, Michael Carvalho. Versus Conor Mooney, John Long, Simon Linus. Marie Cosgrove, Alex Lawrence, Neil Toms. We're the winner of prelim match number 7. Winner of prelim match number 8. We play Jasper Simmons, Ryan Bodsworth, Sam Story. Neil Raybone, Chris Wheeler, Joe Hayward. We play the winner of prelim match number 9. Winner of prelim match number 10. We'll play Rachel Davies, Mark Williams, and Johnny Bushnell. Frankie Rogers, Liam Craig, Ian Staggy. We'll play Andrew Lister, Andy Barker, and Scott Price. Winner of prelim match 11. We'll play Mark Price, Sean Chipperfield, Eddie Barker. Alex Stevens, Lauren Whitmore, Mark Moore. Play the winner of prelim match number 12. Jonathan Coleman, Neil Kelly, Danny Davies. Play Lee Briscoe, Steve Moriarty, Alex Bailey. Declan Brennan, Ross Stern, Dan Chanter. Against the winner of prelim match number 13. Winner of prelim match 14. We'll play Dan Morgan, Jack Whelan, Terry Lamy. Mike Larkins, Ben Cole, Scott Pope. Versus the winner of prelim match 15. Matthew Bartman, Anthony Tedds, Paul Carr. Versus Kevin Stewart, Chuck Hellwell, Wayne Gardner. Paula Boyd, Jack Schofield, Ilana Ionescu. Versus Lee Westbrook, Tony Reed, Craig Hart. Winner of prelim 16. Against Luke Gilbert, Steve Singh, Ray Haynes. Craig Marsh, Ben Anderson, Steve Petty. Versus the winner of prelim match number 17. Colin Cooper, Vikas Sabarwell, John Rowe. Against Vinny Sabarwell, Gary Southern, and Drew Morrow. Karim Barada, Alice Day, Scott Crawley. Versus Liam White, Timmy Croxton, Scott Kennedy. Winner of prelim 18. Against Lewis Bishop, Tom Cousins, JJ Paul. Paul Johnston, Rich Lover, Callum Ranson. Versus the winner of prelim match 19. Nearly there. Winner of prelim 20 versus Jimmy McDonald, Michaela Gardner, Zach Lennon. Adam Davis, Ian Davenport, Spencer Daniels. Versus Justin Wynn, Gary Fenton, Jeremy Hooper. And last match out, winner of prelim match 21 against Bex McCall, Jamie Clements, Sam Dodd. That completes the draw. We'll get it on Q Score as soon as we can. If you want to see the full draw, it's on the TV screen now. You might need to squint to see it all. But that's the full draw. We'll get it on Q Score and it starts tomorrow at 9. Thank you. we've got to take off the board now and get some matches on, so we will go back to the main event now. Okay, back to the Jason Owen competition. Next match on table 13. Martin Wood, Vikas Barwell. Martin Wood, Vikas Barwell, table 13. On table 16, Wade Morley, Joe Nolte. Wade Morley, Joe Nolte, table 16.
Right, now we're back and we can focus on the game. Myself and Paul have been having a very in-depth discussion there, debating what the best flavour of pot noodle is while we were off air. And I think Paul's saying it's a Bombay Bad Boy, but I'm saying that while that's up there, the chicken korma flavour really is off the charts. He's never tried it, so he's still got that delight to come in his life, a chicken korma pot noodle. Imagine, having that. We all get our first in our lives, but that moment where you try your first chicken korma pot noodle is just, I envy you. I envy you that opportunity. I got to say, he's here eating a beef and tomato, and for me, it's a poor choice. It's probably down there with the worst flavours, along with chicken and mushroom. Don't know if the guys at home just looking in the YouTube chat can you know, maybe let us know your favourite flavours. So many to choose from. The things you get talking about on a Saturday afternoon while the Jason Owen Open is ongoing. Matt Brierley just taking his place just to the right hand side, also taking his place in the last 16. I'm just going to refresh myself with the latest scores and see who actually did go through in that last 32 of the main event. I think most of the games are finished now. I think there's a couple still ongoing. So making up the last 16, Neil Raybone, Matt Cook, having beaten Declan Brennan, Dave Fernandez, Jamie Fay, Gareth Hibbert, John McAllister, Jack Whelan, Scott Gillespie, Jamie Stokes, Aaron Davis, Clint Hanson, Phil Harrison, Tom Cousins, Matt Brierley, and still to be decided, Adam Davis against Carl Morris, locked at 4 apiece, and Steve Smart 6-2 up on Neil Davies. So some names there that you would definitely expect to be in the last 16, and some others which yeah, having a really good weekend so far. So that now taking shape. Just 2 more matches to be decided, and that will get back underway at 4 o'clock this evening.
On table 5, Sam Story, Amin Amrani. Sam Story, Amin Amrani, table 5. On table 27, Gareth Hibbert, Richard Chapman. Gareth Hibbert, Richard Chapman, table 27. On table 15, Jack Halliwell, Neil Raybone. Jack Halliwell, Neil Raybone, table 15, sorry. Jack Halliwell, Neil Raybone, table 15.
So having taken the last frame, Dan pulled it back to 2 frames to 1, now with a decent opportunity. Probably Dan not played to his full potential so far. As I say, beat Jimmy Croxton in the first round of the main event, so we know he's more than capable.
Now on table number 2, Omar Manji, Scott Gillespie. Omar Manji, Scott Gillespie, table 2.
Just trying to keep up with the action on Q Score, because there's now 3 events being played across the 28 tables, so I'm having to flick between the different events on Q Score between the Jason Owen Open and last 32 of the main event, also the ladies event going on many of the tables. So this red, and played it well, fairly simple black to middle. Now Dan levels things up at 2 apiece, having been 2-0 down and looking a bit at odds, to be honest. He wasn't playing well, missed a key shot earlier with black into the middle. Now he seems to have settled. And there you see in the background all the other tables, those 2 games that are still going on from the 32. Steve Smart still on the hill. Adam Davis and Carl Morris locked together. Table 10 and table 19 respectively. which are way down the arena. And I can see Adam Davis is currently waiting. I think Carl Morris has just stepped away for a bathroom break. I can see him walking back to the table, so that game just about to get back underway. Solid connection from Dan, but it's going to come up dry. And looking at the table, I think he's got an opener on yellows. He's got the red to middle. One of the reds is tied up to the left-hand side, so he just needs to solve that problem. Sean Chipperfield took no time whatsoever in dispatching Mark Shepherd 4-0. No shame in getting a whitewash from Sean. He won't be the first and almost certainly won't be the last. You see Gaz Hibbert in action on table 27 in the open event. No Raybone just heading into the table. Looks like he's just about to get underway on table 15. It's just action all the way today. It's non-stop pool from 9 o'clock this morning. Every table in action and will be until midnight tonight. 10 o'clock this evening is the final. That's when it's scheduled for. Nice touch there from Pat, just to develop the one difficult ball. Miss from Dan could be key.
Next match on table 2, Glenn Whitmore, Stephen Dewing. Glenn Whitmore, Stephen Dewing.
Dan, from being 2-0 down, just seemed to have settled into the match. Brought it back to 2-2, and he would have been odds on to clear that table. Fancied him for it. If he does go on to lose this match, he will look back on that missed yellow as pretty much the key.
On table number 15, Jonathan Coleman, Ben Clark. Sorry about that. Table 20, Jonathan Coleman, Ben Clark, table 20. Jonathan Coleman, Ben Clark, table 20. On table 24, RGC Scott Price. RGC Scott Price, table 24.
Drop that in to the middle, absolutely dead weight, but actually I think maybe could have done with a couple more inches of pace. Just maybe got a touch more angle than he wants to play this red into the left centre, to be able to hold for the other red into the right centre. Of course, the black and yellow are blocking that path, so he may have to come below the black now. Yeah, he's looking at the gap. He's looking at whether he lets the cue ball run around the yellow off 2 cushions, maybe even 3. Just a little bit careless in dropping that ball in the middle. As I say, if it comes to another couple of inches, I think he's okay, but now the cue ball's going to be running. This looks good. He's left it dead straight to top corner. Had a good margin for error there, because if he overruns it, he'll have it to the middle. So, nothing to do. Just play a stop shot on the red for a simple black. And this to put Pat on the hill. And takes full advantage of that mistake from Dan.
Next match on table 18, Liam White, San Jeffrey. Liam White, San Jeffrey, table 18. Next match on table 17, Phil Hoskins, Spencer Daniels. Phil Hoskins, Spencer Daniels, table 17. Next match on table number 8. Table number 8, Callum Pendle, Scott Crawley, table 8. Callum Pendle, Scott Crawley, table 8.
A dry break from Pat now gives Dan a decent chance. The yellows look okay. In fact, they look more than okay. They look good. Everything there in the middle of the tables, and the red's just in a cluster at the bottom.
Dan Morgan, second Brendan Dan Morgan, table 4.
just a series of kind of stun shots and just little cannon into the red there, just to push it out of the way and make room. But nothing really much to do here. These yellows couldn't be much better. Scoreboard not updated yet. Pat is leading 3 frames to 2.
If anyone's interested in betting with a link bet in the corner of the room, there is now match betting available on the last 16 onwards. Outright the last 16 bets for the main competition. Starting to get to the nitty gritty. Fancy a bet, go and see a league bet.
Could have gone wrong. I think it has gone wrong. Just cannoning that yellow below the black. Just misjudged that. Don't think he wanted to cannon it quite so hard. And if that yellow now doesn't go, if he can't get through to the potting angle, he's in a spot of trouble here, because he's going to find it really hard to try and develop it. Don't think he likes it. He may have to play up and down the table and try and develop it, or just play onto the ball at the top of the table and leave an angle to come down and get into it and move it. But he's going to need a touch of luck here as well. He's left a good angle. Can go to it direct or come off 2 cushions. I say direct off the top rail, or come off 2 cushions like this. No. So advantage reds at the moment. Always a danger when you miss your last ball and your opponent has everything left on the table. I think it might be a bit of a hit and hope here for Dan. I don't think there's any point in doing anything else. He's tried to play a controlled weight. Same result. I think there sometimes you just need to get into the back of the ball and hope it goes somewhere. I guess all wasn't lost at that point if he could have played a controlled shot. The balls are still in a cluster, so a little bit unfortunate it's going off.
Next match on table 6, Colin Cooper, Richard Gifford, table 6. The scoring tablet is at the top table for that match, please. Next match on table 21 is Owen Maschini, Matt Riley, table 21. Table 25, John Moore, Ben Smith, table 25. Table 26, Jeremy Hooper, Chris Hampson, table 26.
And yeah, just a case of missed opportunities from Dan. He had a chance there. He had a chance to go 3-2, and he had another chance in that frame. Just didn't take him. Just wasn't really at the races there. Got off to a bad start and never really recovered from it. It's Pat Ward that goes through into round 3. We're going to take a break from the action for now. We're going to be back at 4 o'clock with the last 16 of the main event. Just a short break. If you want to keep up to date with scores in the meantime, then go to qscore.com. If you've subscribed to our channel and click that notification bell, then you will get a notification when we go back live at 4 o'clock. But for now, we'll take a break and we'll see you back at 4 o'clock.